Okay, so we're talking about the sum function in SQL Server. Now here's the thing, a lot of what you're going to see here, it doesn't just work in SQL Server, it'll work in DB2, it'll work in Oracle, basically any kind of RDBMS that you have. Normally we think of sum like in math, like we want to add things together, but notice here I've got 4 and 5 and 6. Sum doesn't work this way. If I run this, I get an error. It says the sum function requires one argument. What's interesting is that this will be able to work. See, it adds 4, 5, and 6 and comes up with 15 because it actually looks at this as one argument because there's no commas. That is really one expression that has one value. But that's not really using sum in SQL Server the way that it's designed to use. The use of it is a little more useful, a little more sophisticated. So let's jump in. First of all, let me show you the timesheet table. Basically, we got this company, we got the workers, and all it tracks, somebody's probably entering this stuff in a database as they go, but here's this guy, Joe Schmo. This is the day he worked. These are the hours he worked. This is how much he makes. If there's anything special like vacation time or overtime, that's tracked. And it says PPE. This is the pay period ends. So this is for a Monday, but it's the week that ends on a Friday. That's when people get paid. Okay. So you see we've got all the names. These are all the people that, the hours for Monday. Down here it's got the hours for Tuesday, and on and on and on. And now I'm just going to order the table a little differently. Wow, there's actually somebody with the name Baron Chopcha. That's a weird one. Here's an example of what it would look like for 1 week's worth of work for somebody. They work a 5-day week, Monday through Friday. So he worked 8 hours, $20 an hour. How many hours is that? How much money do we owe the guy? So sum is going to help us with that. So let's go to this next window. Now, we're not going to do anything with sum yet. We're just going to play around with it. We're going to say select the name and the work date. So the name and the work date. But then we're going to multiply the rate and the hours together. So instead of 8 and 20, that should say, like 160. Let's try that out. Okay, this is great, right? So, this is helpful. So on Monday, the guy made $120. But I can't pay him yet because I pay him weekly. So we're going to have to start using the sum function in a smart way. So let me open up my next set of stuff here. I'm still not using the sum function yet. What I'm doing is I'm showing you the same thing as we had on the other screen. We're multiplying the work hours times the rate. But we're also going to show the end of the week, and we're also going to show it by where the pay period is when it ends on May 12th. So let's run that and see what happens. Whoops. And let me pick the right database. Da, 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 da. Okay, so now what we have here, right? We've got the name, the work date, how much they earned. Still not really helping us because now in order for me to write them out a check, I got to add this all together either in Excel or in my head. And, you're going to really trust me if I do it in my head? And half the time you'll get paid more, but anyway. So now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the name, and then we're going to take the sum of the hours per pay period. And we're going to use this group by function. And we're only going to do it for this week, okay? So now, here's what it looks like. See, now we're getting somewhere. Whoops. Let's let's pick the right database. Da, 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 da. Okay, so now this I can deal with, okay? Now, it says that Baron Chopcha got paid $800 last week. That makes sense. He gets $20 an hour and he worked 40 hours. And it's for this week. So we'll just say that he doesn't get a pay stub. He's a contractor, so I just write out a check and he's done. Bob Schwab made $880. Hikaru McAdoo made $640. I just love these names. James T. Cork. Yeah, that's imaginary. Jean-Luc Gregario. Joe Schmo, Nyota Iota. Gotta love these names. Yeah, we only hire people with funny names. Okay, but let's keep going. Now, what I'm going to do is, instead of showing the work hours for just 1 week, we're going to let it rip for a couple of weeks. And let's pick the right database. You guys can make fun of me later. See, in real life, bad things happen sometimes. That's all right. So now, it shows this if I wanted to do it, so I owe him $800 for this week, and 800 for next week. If I paid him every 2 weeks, I mean, that I have no trouble adding in my head. But is there anything else that we can do? What if somebody said to you, well, this is great, but we're trying to figure out our budget. And after you do payroll, I want to know how much I spent for the whole week. Can we use Sum for that? Yeah, totally. Well, how would you do that? Well, you would do it like this. Do the sum of the work hours times the rate, call that pay, and then we're going to also select the pay period ending, so which payday it was, from timesheets, but we're going to group by pay period ending. So this just looks like this. And let's pick the right database. It's kind of funny that it's LAF, that's why you're going to laugh at me. Okay, so now what this is showing us is that for this pay period, we had to pay $5,300. For this pay period, we had to pay $5,240. The reason why they're different, there was some overtime in this week for an iota. But as you look at this code, it's really simple. The SQL statement. I mean, it's just what you're grouping it by. The sum function works like a charm. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Oh, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you think I'm hilarious and charming, please consider subscribing. And hey, go out and make some money.